West of Dead is a roguelite game starring an unnamed protagonist who is a cross between Clint Eastwood's Man with No Name spaghetti western character and Ghost Rider. He's an undead gunslinger who seems to be trapped in a never-ending loop of death and rebirth. In this beta, he doesn't seem to have too many friends either, with his only companions being a bartender and a witch. This game seems to borrow a lot of its structure from the game Dead Cells, which isn't a bad game to pull influence from. There's a crypt at the beginning of each run that contains 2 basic weapons to pick up. They are available in the gun types of shotguns, pistols, and rifles. These have different firing rates as well as accuracy and reload speeds. Pistols I found to be the best range weapons even though they deal the least amount of damage. Shotguns are for up-close encounters and rifles work well all around, but I must say I had the least amount of accuracy with them and that didn't really make a lot of sense. Enemies so far are in 3 varieties: melee, riflemen, and people who throw dynamite or Molotov cocktails. Riflemen have super high accuracy, but thankfully our hero can take cover behind tombs and pillars while being able to pop shots back at the enemies. He also has a dodge that has a slightly slow cooldown, so it can't just be spammed, but this really comes in handy dodging shots and can be used to slide into cover or even slide over cover. Cover doesn't last forever though, and can be destroyed in no time, so the hero has to keep moving. He also does a kick that doesn't seem to do a ton of damage, but I've already read about people who are playing this doing a kick-only run, so it can be useful. Enemies are hidden in the dark sections of a room a lot of the time, and there will be lanterns that can be lit so you can not only see them, but stun them with the light if they're close to it, and then hit them more accurately with shots. There are 2 areas in the beta, and each one is procedurally generated, so each run is different. This keeps the game exciting because every room has to be approached differently. West of Dead took me a bit to get used to because I was getting my ass whooped for the first hour of play until I started figuring out how to survive. Each hit I took was a whopping 20 points of health gone, but thankfully there were occasionally canteens around to refill health. Also, there are shrines located in some rooms that can either upgrade health, damage, or cooldown of special items. Some of the special items I used were double speed reloads, a throwing axe, and a lantern that could be thrown so the light can stun enemies for a bit. There were also usually higher level guns that could replace the ones in my inventory near the shrines. There are also circles that can be stepped into to make a point for fast travel, much like Dead Cells, so the players can easily backtrack if needed, so they can find more items or take a different path because they have reached a dead end. The hero can also fill up a flask that can heal him, and I didn't even notice I could do this until the last 2 rooms of the beta, but it was the perfect time. At the end of every area, there's the witch who will sell items in exchange for sin. Sin is picked up from dead enemies, much like the cells in Dead Cells. The player can also visit the bartender before walking into the next area to refill their flasks as well as their health. There was a single boss in the beta, and it was a simple but effective boss fight. I was happy when I took it down, and I was ready to take on the next area, but sadly that was the end of the beta. Ron Perlman voices the main protagonist, and gives a nice dry delivery with his lines as he usually does with his gaming voice work. It's cool to hear him in a game again. The sounds in the game were nice, and I really liked that the music would make a neat little tone every time an enemy was killed. In my opinion, that was a nice touch. The music itself picks up during gunfights, and it fits the western style mood of the game. All in all, I really had a fun time with this game, and I could see myself putting a great deal of time into it when it's fully released. I'm interested to see what other enemies are in store as well as the boss fights. It seems like there will be a good deal of weapons and items, and the fact that each run is completely different will probably make for some great replay value. I hope to give this game a full review when it's released. Thank you all for watching, and if you liked the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, because the more likes I get, the more people will see my videos, and the more it can help my channel grow. Thanks again, it really means a lot.